Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with my co-hosts Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion, coming to you live from Cahaba Brewing Company. UAB does not get it done on the field, falling to Tulane 35-23. Hell of an effort from the Blazers. But before we get into the game, guys, I just want to talk to about the amazing opportunity that we had today to host a watch party with Cahaba Brewing Company. I believe we had damn near 100 people out at this brewing company, fellowshipping, a lot of cheering. I know not a lot of cheering late in the game, but I just want to take this moment to, this is a game recap, so of course it's all of our game recap episodes this season are brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. But I just want to take this moment to thank Cahaba Brewing Company for giving us this special opportunity to fellowship with, our listeners and Blazer fans and just having a good time.
Hey, I feel blessed to have that kind of showing and that kind of turnout. Shout out to Blazer Nation, man. This was a really good an eventful day. Of course, we're going to talk about the game, and I'm glad, John, that you decided to talk about just how incredible it was just to really mingle with some of the listeners, with just people that are passionate about UAB just like us, right?
Right.
So that was really cool, and this is really just, again, we're just scratching the surface of these live events, right? Mm-hmm. So we were talking about, the event before the event today, and we were like, hey, if 10 people show up, that's fine.
Right.
Because we know that those 10 people that show up are going to have an awesome time, and I'm just blown away by the amount of support, not just for the pod, but just people that care about UAB. And so shout out to everybody that decided to come out today.
And I told one of our listeners out there, I said the next time we will be doing this event, I 100% expect it to be a dub when we do it.
Yes.
It's going to be a win. We're going to get into the game, but the turnout was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. This is our first time ever doing something like that. So shout out to Blazer Nation, man. Next time, if we had 100 people, I expect 200 people, because I feel like I don't want the rest of Blazer Nation to miss out on this event that we held. Yeah. And I expect this place to be jam-packed, loud, and just seeing our listeners are happy. Seeing them, they were happy that we were fellowshipping at such a great turnout. Shout out to Blazer Nation. Let's do it again this time. Next time it's going to be a victorious event all around. All around.
Right. We might need to do that for the NCAA game next time. No, but for real, for UAB to come in 1-3 and have the opportunity against the defending conference, American Athletic Conference champs, let's dive into the game. I know it wasn't the way that Blazer Nation wanted it to end, but by God, there were some chances to win that damn game late.
It hurt, though.
It does hurt, man.
It hurt, man. That fumble.
Oh.
I know it's a lot of minutiae and a lot the minutiae and the details of the game. It's important to talk about. But what I saw overall, just getting straight to the point, is we're 90% there.
Yeah.
So when you finish and you round out to be a good team, you learn how to finish. Yeah. So that touchdown at the end, that fumble, the 12 men on the field, with the 4th and 1, and when they called it, when the fullback came out on the flat, all of those plays we didn't make the winning plays.
Right.
We just didn't make the winning plays. But we are right there. It's context that I see a lot of listeners or a lot of our fans on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are upset and they're blaming the coaching staff, but you got to put everything. You got to look at it, the whole picture.
Right.
Where we started as a team, we're super young.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on repeating the same thing. We're super young, a new staff. That was Tulane. So going into the year, when we were looking into the schedule, how many people even expected to be in that game, period? No. We're on the road at Tulane, the best team in the conference. And here we are, disappointed. I'm still disappointed. No more victories, but I do feel like we had a good chance to win that game, but we just didn't finish. And let that be the last lesson we have to learn this year. I feel confident going forward, but I feel like we've learned all our lessons. We're here. Right. I think we can really make something of the season.
Yeah, you think about the 12-point loss today is not representative of how close that ball game
Not
was.
at all.
Not at all. If you just tuned in, you're looking at the box score, you see UAB lost the game by 12 points. You missed a lot of stuff in between. UAB came out early, scored in the first possession, got up 20-7, defense making plays, forcing turnovers. There was a lot of positives right away. One of the positives I was really impressed with, really coming out of the locker room, is our ability to run the game, or run the ball, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we talked about in the preview that Tulane had not allowed an opponent to actually have more than 89 yards on the ground in the game, and that was an SEC opponent in Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And UAB in the second quarter, I looked at the box score, UAB was already up to 83 rushing yards. Jacobs was having a day. That was right after Jacobs scored in the 17-yard run. So, yeah, there were some TFLs, in this game against a dang good Tulane defensive line. That's right. But you had moments really for arguably the first time you can take, away some of that in-cat game to start the season where we showed the ability to run the ball. Mm-hmm. So to Darian's overarching point, though, about context, we talk about it a lot. We were 22.5-point dogs. There were books that were looking at this as an easy 25, 30-point play in Tulane's favor. We've actually gone in back-to-back consecutive weeks, 1 week to Athens against the two-time defending champion, and then we come to New Orleans the week after against the number one team in our conference. In both games, there was a lot of respect to take away from the way that the players played the game. So I just want to start there and just say overarching, that was not representative of how close this ball game was.
Yeah, not at all. But you've got to be proud of the performance from both the offense and defense. And, hey, special teams, too. Shout out to Matt Quinn. What was he, 3 for 3?
Yeah, 3 for 3.
So
He
good
hit
job.
a 48-yard.
Yeah, really good.
And
Matt
that
Quinn's
was
back.
clutch to put us up to 20-7 at
Yes.
the time.
Yes.
And you just take away a couple of plays and UAB wins this ball game. And that's just so, it sucks for the overall result. And I know Trent and the staff are upset at the overall result. But it really looks like the team has taken what they did last week in Georgia and expounded upon the positives that they learned in that ball game.
They really built on
You
it.
can see growth
Right.
in this team.
Right.
And that's really, honestly, what you want to see from a week to week is you want to see continued growth.
John, do you remember in the beginning, what did we say this year would be what classified as a success?
If we can see continued growth throughout this season.
So now we come back home. We're coming back home. We're playing USF.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I expect to win that one. I expect us to be favorites in that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. Yeah.
This is going to be a big game. There's no excuses now. A lot of things I've been seeing is about the staff. Like, what is it about the staff that you guys are so upset about? Like, and I'm being so. I understand that we got the 12-man. We got
That was my only gripe.
that is totally 100% on the staff. Mm-hmm. But guys, in a championship game against Middle Tennessee, they had 12 men on the field at the most crucial part of the game.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm not making excuses. I'm upset. And that is one mistake that should not have happened. But to act like, oh, the staff lost the game, that is an overreaction. But that's just how I feel. It's not reflective on anybody else. Y'all know I'm really.
You're right, though.
I'm pointed in how I feel. It's early in the season. We have a new team. Like, we have a new staff, new schemes. These guys have grown. We went to Georgia and we went to Tulane on the road. Mm-hmm. We were never expected to win those games. So to just feeling like that we should have won and to have a chance to win, I think that means a lot, especially after the showing against Louisiana, where it was a complete breakdown between staff and players. I don't know what was happening right there. But now we have all the information we need. We have everything we need in these, 4 games? In these 4 games, or is it 5?
5, yeah. 1 and 4.
In these 5 games, we're 1-4. But I don't think we're the 1-4 team you want to see.
No.
We are not. I expect us to go, who we got after USF?
I think we go to
UTSA, UTSA, and then Memphis at home. Yeah, that's your
And
next.
FAU for homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm to the point, depending on how we come out and show how we build against the USF, I'm to the point where I expect us to beat UTSA. Honestly.
They
Because
ain't showing anything. Yeah.
that's where I'm at. So, like, it's a long season, guys. We played two of the best teams in the country. Like, chill out. This staff has done nothing but grow and develop. And if we get a freaking touchdown, it's not even a yard away.
Yeah.
You know, Zeno,
This whole game is totally different. The way we're looking back at it,
Yeah.
we may still be watching it in double, triple overtime right now.
Yeah.
But that's the level. That's where our learning curve is at. We're at that. We're like, maybe we shoulda, coulda. That's what happens when you're building a team. You go through these hard lessons, and hopefully that was our last lesson that we have to learn.
And to be real, before I throw it to Jimmy, like when we had in the spring, when this schedule dropped, we all three, I'm pretty sure we were in agreement that Georgia and Tulane were both going to be losses. Tulane's loss was a very damn competitive loss.
Yeah.
And very well should have won at the end, like Darian just mentioned. So and I know it's hard to put things into perspective, especially after a couple weeks that got off of Louisiana showing. But you got to see the overall picture and what this staff is building overall from a week-to-week basis. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but Trent went after Gilstrap after that 12 men.
Right.
He was fiery, and that's what we want to see out of our head coach. We want to see passion, fiery, and, Gilstrap's going to have to answer to what happened. And I know it wasn't supposed to happen, but that's what you want to see out of this staff moving forward. This staff put players in position to make plays, and they made a lot of plays. And we'll get to Amari Thomas and Isaiah Jacobs, who Jimmy's already mentioned, and Zeno's performance. Like, the guys made plays. They are just a couple away from winning football and just turning this thing in the opposite direction. And I'll throw it to Jimmy to wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, just another comment about this holistically is that, I think we're all fans here. I mean, that last touchdown score by Tulane just
4th and
gutted
6, yeah.
Just gutted me.
4th and 1.
Yeah, 4th and 1. They go for it and they throw the pass. But, we've heard a lot of noise on the outside too. So there was that little reel that went around X yesterday about split zone duo talking about this early, that the coaching hire isn't good. They've been all over this coaching hire.
Before a conference game's even played.
Yeah. You've got back-to-back weeks in which UAB was competitive for a decent portion of the Georgia game and damn near should have won the game today. People aren't even watching the game, and they're just talking this noise right now, right? So that's why we're trying to reel it in, because we know right now how bad this hurts. We're immediately, when they say immediate reaction, we're not joking. We didn't drive home, set up the equipment.
We are in the office.
We haven't rewatched the game. We barely look at the statistics to kind of catch up here after. This is emotion right now. But you know where my emotion goes? Darian, you were talking about the staff. My first thought isn't, hey, this staff isn't meeting expectations right now. I actually align with the fact that I have seen that growth too in these ball games. I will say that one thing when we look at the first game of the year and we look at the 5th game of the year that I am still concerned about is the run defense. So NCAT was able to gash us from the ground a little bit at times. And then you look at Tulane today, they averaged at the end of the game, and remember, this average was, went down a little bit in that last drive because we knew they were going to run the ball, except for the last play. And they averaged over 6.4 yards a carry, and they ran the ball, I would envision, almost 40 times for 264 yards. Louisiana had over, 300 yards rushing against us. So that's something that, I'm nitpicking a little bit, but that's still the reality of the situation. We're going against a running quarterback next week. That does concern me. But in a lot of other areas of the game, I've seen a lot of growth, and I've seen a lot of development in that respect. Just a few more notes just on the gameplay itself, and then we can talk about Amari Thomas, and then we got to talk about that catch. Speaking of the UAB defense, Tulane was 3 of 10 on third down today. I saw a lot of forcing Tulane into 3rd and long, and really only allowing them to convert on 30%. We talked about the run game for UAB, which is solid. And one thing that we know about our identity right now is that UAB plays disciplined football. We had 3 penalties for 12 yards. I don't know if any of those penalties outside of the 12-man came in the second half. So we continue to play disciplined football. That's a sign of good coaching. That's a sign of good job by the players as well. In the last 2 weeks, playing good defenses. How many times we turned over against Georgia last week? Just once? I think we turned over once against Georgia last week, and we turned over once tonight. South Alabama turned over 5 times in the first game of the season against Tulane. We talked about last week, Tulane forced 4 turnovers. I think they had forced double-digit turnovers already this season.
10 turnovers heading into this game.
So when you see us take care of the ball, time of possession, run game, like these are all things that I continue to be impressed with in terms of looking at the development. And this offense against a very good Tulane team on the road put up almost 450 yards of total offense.
And I would like to say, I think we've played the best defenses we're going to face all year. Back to back, early in the year. Like, guys, let's
take a
pause.
breath.
Do you remember, it was a year or 2 ago, do y'all remember North Texas? They started off the season maybe 1-6 or something like that.
Bowling,
and they went bowling at the end of the year. It's a long season. Like, take a breath and chill. Like, we have a young staff that they have shown me something. I say the thing that I come away concerned about is it's again our defensive backfield. I want us to see us make those plays when it's time to make those plays. So what I'm always an advocate of having the players decide the game. I know we had the 12 men on the field, okay, but I do think we still ended up getting the stop later on that series.
We did.
Still got the stop. We still got the stop. So we got the touchdown at the end. It was D-Mac one-on-one. If you was D-Mac, you would say, "Give me that opportunity one-on-one."
Yeah.
He got beat. We about to score. That ain't on no coach. That's not the coaching style.
No, that's not.
Jacob has been almost flawless, but he made a critical mistake and dropped the ball on the 1-inch line. Like that's all. As a player, that's all you ask for. Is like, take it out of the coach's hands and you let me decide the game. And this is gonna burn them. Those are 2 of our best players. Two, I don't know. I guess D-Mac may be the best player.
Bro, we had somebody on staff tell us that he would start for Ohio State.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you put the ball, you leave it up to them, and they both, on those plays, they didn't finish, and that's the word. That is the word: execute and finish. We got all the way down to the end. We didn't finish. 4th and 1, we come downhill. Swoops loses man out the backfield. First down. Yeah. Those plays hurt. They hurt. And we didn't finish those plays. So what am I looking for going into USF? I'm looking for us to continue to build on what we did. We got the run game going. Skull had some critical plays that he made for us.
And shout out to you, Darren, because you said that we could get the run
did
game going.
say that.
I was like, me and Jimmy were like, no, they're not going to get it going.
Yeah, I believe that we could get the run game going. Shout out to our offensive line.
Yeah.
They don't look dominant, but they look serviceable.
Right.
And they're getting better week to week.
The physicality, that touchdown run by Jacobs in the beginning of the game, that was all just physicality. Like that, I was on the way here and I almost damn near crashed, right? Trying to flex muscles because that's what we need to see.
Yeah.
We saw that. Now, if we can finish, that's all. Execute. In winning times, when it's time to win those critical plays,
they're gonna be all right.
I think we're right on the precipice. It's not a think; it's right there. The evidence is right there. Again, guys, we played Georgia on the road, #1 in the nation. We played Tulane,
Hostile environment.
The hostile environment, the best team in the AAC. They was ranked before they lost to Ole Miss. Now, the only reason they lost to Ole Miss is because they had a backup quarterback. We faced Michael Pratt. Like, we did a good job against them. Like, y'all, calm down, man. Like, okay, the coaching staff made a mistake. One mistake. How many? We don't even have to go into it. We don't have to go into it with the most talented team we had in UAB history.
Yeah.
We did good, you guys, but good isn't what we're searching for. It's not. We don't just want to say, "Hey, good job." We aren't even looking for pat on the back. We can be disappointed, but be realistic at the same time.
We wouldn't even have 3 timeouts to use.
Oh my God, man. We wouldn't even have a
true,
chance,
yeah.
man. So, and we were depending on long runs. Like, let's not do that. Like, going into next week, the expectation is for us to build. Now, if you want to be disappointed in the staff, wait till next week and see if we take a step back, if we regress.
That's the thing to watch.
Yeah.
So, we had a good showing. We're all disappointed. Okay. But I expect us to go in next week, get the win, and then tear through the AAC. Let's get another shot.
Yeah.
Let Tulane slip up one time.
And like your hardest part of the schedule is Bayou. Like you've got some winnable games now. Now with UTSA, we thought was going to be a tough game, but they don't look like the old UTSA.
Is Frank Harris?
Well, he's still kind of hurt. Yeah.
All right.
But hey,
telling y'all,
he's some winnable opportunities.
we can make some noise. Like,
And you're just 1-4.
You've got FAU at home. They're without their starting quarterback who's out for the year. You've got USF at home. You've got Temple at home.
Memphis at home.
You've got Memphis at home in a rivalry game. You know, you've got UTSA on the road.
And the
which is
Navy on the road.
Yeah, Navy's going to be a tough game. Run defense, but we'll get there
eventually.
Yeah, we got some time.
We got some time.
But I think
North Texas.
Yeah.
North
I
Texas
think what's compromising us is like our defensive backfield hasn't been. I thought they were going to be the best in the league, and they have not been that. So you get compromised on run defense trying to make up for that lack of. If you understand what I'm saying, it's
I do.
If you walk on one leg more because the other leg is injured, you're going to end up injuring the other leg. So it's like we need to just get better in the defensive backfield and one-on-one. Even though Michael Pratt didn't have that much of a game.
I was going to say, I thought the secondary. Now, when we do our Patreon after review, patreon.com/blazerpod, so probably Monday night we'll have our after review when we're actually able to really look at the film. But I thought the secondary did fairly well. Or
They
you
did.
could
They
see
did okay.
improvement. Yeah.
The thing that I don't like, and I hope we make more improvement on, if it's one thing about coaching on defense, is this. We bag off of guys. Like,
Give that
but
credit too much credit.
Dempsey got beat on the big play. D-Mac got beat on the big play.
Yeah.
And those two plays really, really hurt us. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that Dempsey, when he got beat on that post, that deep post.
They ended up scoring that drive.
They did. I don't know if that was a third down or not, but
it was.
I remember that really.
It's a third and long, I think.
Yeah, it might have been.
It really deflated us. So
Have we forced a pick in the secondary outside of Ricky Lee against Georgia?
Did they get one? And
we got one against
was it
maybe.
Incat?
But that was Bracey, wasn't it? Bracey came in late.
It was
and got a
basically
pick.
late in the game. Yeah.
So I'm looking at these young guys in the back in the secondary that are forcing turnovers.
BJ Mays.
BJ Mays. I know we almost had the pick six against Georgia.
Georgia Southern, he caught the one that.
No,
Yeah.
Ricky Lee was the one in Georgia.
No, but
Georgia
Georgia Southern.
Oh, Georgia
Yeah,
Southern. That's right. That's
that was
right.
one.
Yeah, he
That's right.
when the receiver dropped the ball.
Right.
But we have to be better there.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to that D-line, though, man. I know they give up a lot on the ground, but forcing 2 fumbles?
Right.
And they didn't. What we have one offsides maybe, and they were trying to draw us a lot.
All day.
Shout out to Will Soros.
Yeah, he did good.
He looks like a player out there. Like he's good. He's a good rotation player. He's disciplined. He's
Daniel
way-
Miller had 6 tackles.
Shout out
from
to
the
him.
linebacker
And another thing, again, guys, Iman Smalls,
Yeah.
Emmanuel Waller,
Young.
Amari Thomas,
Young talent.
Everett Russell, Chris Bracey. Like all of these guys, even though he's hurt right now, Iverson Hooks. I'm naming out freshmen. Like, do you get it? Like
Right.
Luke Jones.
Yep.
Will Parker, sophomore. Fred Farrier, redshirt sophomore.
Hey, shout out Fred Ferry throwing that ball. Who
Yeah.
T-Palm or who?
Yeah, T-Palm, yeah.
Woo!
There might have been 3 defenders there, but T-Palm said, I got it.
Hey, that's our boy Fred.
Yeah, shout out to Fred, man. He had a great game, but he had the one drop, but he had a great game.
Oh,
That was a tough catch.
Yeah.
Can we
He
talk
should.
about a catch? Can we just go ahead and talk about the Amari Thomas? So I'm looking down my phone. ESPN had an alert when we were walking up the stairs, and it said UAB wide receiver Mosses. The opponent. This guy continues. At one point, he had 7 catches. I don't know if he had 7 or 8 in the ball game, but he is just producing.
He's producing.
For a
every
17-year-old.
Yeah.
Guys, again, I can't stress it enough. We got nothing but young guys out there.
Right.
And they are McQuan Merriweather. Like, we have so many young guys that are actually producing. Like, chill out. Chill. Look at the full context. And honestly, even though I do expect us to like finish the season strong, I still think next year is our year.
That's right.
That's what I'm already like super excited for next year. How can you not be? But this year is the year that's important because you don't just say, "Oh, next year we're going to be better." You get better now,
right.
and that's why I am so encouraged. Once you get the feel that you get the itch, like, dang, we really should be top of the league going into next year, and we get all those guys off red shirts, and we bring in another class, and we get another year. We get a senior, Jacob Zeno. We get all of these guys coming back, almost all of them. Watch out.
Let me ask you this from a player perspective, because we're talking about to our fans and our listeners right here, like, keep your head up. Like, we're seeing growth, we're seeing progress, but the reality is that we're 1-4. Mm-hmm. From a player perspective, Darian, like, do you think that it's difficult for them right now to see that growth when the results haven't led to wins, or do you think that, you know, equally like the fans, like that they're going to be able to see that and keep it going? Like, what's your experience? What do you think?
I think from what we saw at the Louisiana game and how just embarrassing that was to come and play Georgia tough and to say, oh man, if we would have made a play or two, it kind of piqued your interest. But then you think, were they just taking the day off?
Yeah.
Were they just overlooking us? To come to Tulane and feel bad because you didn't win the game.
Right.
That is such an improvement. So as a player, you're looking and I'm looking at, if I'm on the team right now, I'm looking at the players next to me. I'm saying we are right.
Yeah.
We're right there. We proved that we are right there. We did it 2 times in a row. So it's not a fluke against really good teams. The key now going forward is USF. Mm-hmm. We should win the game. If I'm a player, I'm expecting to win that game.
Got to.
We have to win that game. Now that if we were to lose that game, that could really
train take
then you got
rails.
That San Antonio game becomes even more difficult.
Yeah. So this is like the most important game of the season.
Is it a must win?
It's definitely it's a must win in the fact of what it could do to the team. It's a crossroads.
Because if you lose this, you go to 1-5, and then you're like, oh.
And then everything that you thought you built, you didn't build anything. You know, you build to win.
Yeah.
And we should take another step forward and win the game.
We're through the most difficult stretch. You mentioned it earlier. This upcoming stretch is also, when you piece this season out and you look at 4-4-4. Mm-hmm. We played 4 games thus far. So we played 5. So you look at the next couple of games, we talked about it: South Florida, San Antonio, Memphis, FAU. Mm-hmm. Okay? You got to get at least 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to split. And then you go to the end and you look at those last 4, and I think you got to go 3-1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the path. Like, you split the next 2, you go 3-1 to end the season, and then I think that we're all sitting here. What would that make us, 6-6? Would they get us to a bowl?
That would get a bowl.
So, like, that's the formula. And you look at that back. We talked about it earlier. You talk about Temple, Navy, North Texas, and who am I missing on that back end?
I think they end the year on North Texas. So
I'm missing one winnable game.
Well, it's not Rice, is it?
No, Rice isn't on the schedule. Right, yeah.
But my point is, regardless, like that back 4, I think it's
Temple.
You can get 3 out of those 4 last games. You can split these middle 2. Mm-hmm. We can still get that bowl eligibility we talked about, and you would see that growth that we were looking forward to. So there's so much opportunity, and there's so much still in front of you. So players, you're listening to this. Coaching staff, you're listening to this. Fans, you're listening to this. Like, just keep on going, man.
But look, if we're building to where I think we could be, we can win the next 4.
Yeah, we can. Absolutely.
All of a sudden, we're 5-4. We look better than what we did last year. And then, guys, if you want to talk about, first of all, this is his first year. I don't think people remember when Deion first got to Jackson State.
Yeah.
But it was COVID. It was before, I know, he was 6-6 that first year or something like that.
The spring year. Yeah.
And they barely got there. And then the next year you had like it was a lot of COVID and stuff like that. But people don't realize even him being the face that he is on the SWAT team, he had to build. And so the lack of patience that I'm seeing is kind of questionable. I'm confused because we just fought a game that we was how many?
22.5 points.
Yep.
So chill out. It's good to be disappointed because that means that we have something that we can work with. Next game, I need us to.
Gotta win it.
And I don't want a close win.
No,
let us have a.
Two scores or more.
Please.
Just. I'm not saying that's what we should do. I'm saying I just want to breathe a little bit. Jesus, man,
Please. Well, all right, we're at 30 minutes. So thank you again to Cahaba Brewing Company for letting us co-host this event here, the UAB Tulane Watch Party. Thank you again to everybody that came out today. Hopefully, going forward, we can have more watch parties here in the future with Blazer Victory and Cahaba Brewing Company. But as always, we will be back on the Patreon probably Monday evening. I still need to talk to the guys about that. But we will do an after review where we look at this Tulane film, give it some time to digest, and actually review the film and analyze the film, and we'll go from there. But patreon.com/blazerpod for $5 a month. You get access to interviews. Guys, we've already done over 30 episodes on the Patreon, so if somebody joins this month for $5, they are able to listen to all 31 of those episodes. So great value. But we will be back on. If you're not a Patreon member, on the free feed, we'll be back in a few days to preview the big matchup between UAB and South Florida in Protective Stadium. But Jimmy, you want to close us out?
Blazer Nation, don't stop believing. Coach staff, don't stop believing. Players, don't stop believing. Just Blaze.
Just win, baby.